Testing, testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. All right, everyone. Welcome back to another Friday night live here at Christ-Centered Ironworks. Hopefully everything is coming in loud and clear. Microphone's clear. Picture quality is clear. We're going to do a real quick check down at camera number 2, Jessica. Let's go down there and make sure that's working good. Hopefully it's switched and looks good. And Jessica, how are you doing this evening?
I am doing good. Just so you guys, you normally ask in the live stream how I'm doing, and I do. I have a heater right here. And here in Michigan this evening, it's going to be about 20 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's definitely a bit of a blustery evening.
Yeah, the wind chill is quite a bit colder than that right now, and as you can see, I'm very well ventilated. very well ventilated in here. It's quite nippy, but good thing is we've got a lot of work to do this evening on this custom, on this sign bracket that we're doing, this decorative sign bracket. So we've got a lot of cool stuff about that. We will also be giving away a lot of different door prizes as the stream progresses onto the evening. Hopefully we'll only be going live. Hopefully we'll be only till 7 p.m. We'll stay on task with that. Hopefully, we'll see what we do, see what we can get done in time. But yeah, in that time, we'll be giving away this 66-pound Anvil. Not this one. We'll be giving you one straight from the manufacturer. I just keep this as a nice example piece. For those of you that know this already, it's probably just about redundant. And yeah, that's basically it. We've got some really special gifts this evening that we're going to be giving out as door prizes as well. Let's go to camera number 2, Jess. We've got 2 pairs of tong blanks that we'll be giving away. These were provided to us by Couch Forge Company. Thank you so much for that, by the way. It's a huge blessing. And not just these, but a lot of other ones of these too. So these are going to be kind of a staple in the streams as we go along here. But we'll be giving 1 pair away of these blank quick tongs from Ken's Custom Iron, and then we'll be giving away a pair of these slot jaw tongs from Ken's Custom Iron as well. So again, Couch Forge Company, thank you so much for that huge donation to the channel for these giveaways. Everybody give him a round of applause. Also, we will be giving away, if we're still at camera number 2, there we go. We will also be giving away these slitting chisels and square punches that I have recently made up. And unlike other times, these are actually fully hardened and tempered, so they are ready to go to work. So we'll be giving away 1 each to some person, a lucky person, but we'll have a couple of these to give away of each type. And also, as door prizes this evening, we have the famous Year of the Anvil sticker pack that we will be giving away as well to a few lucky viewers that are sticking around, along with the Anvil. So definitely pays to stick around, learn, get educated and whatnot, and yeah, have a good time. Oh, so who all do we have on the stream, Jess, this evening?
We have quite a few people. Looks like we're sitting at 137 viewers currently. Thank you guys for all the hand claps for Couch Forge Company and showing his support with the tongs. Also, we had a blue super chat from Yamez who turned the sign blue.
Hey, thanks Yamez for making sure that works. Thank you, Yamez. That's awesome of you, brother.
So yeah, a little earlier people were saying where they were coming in from. We got some people watching from all over the globe. Russia, someone said they were from Russia. I know we have some people here from the UK as well. And of course, the United States. Oh, it just turned green. That was the Red Lion Forge. It says, I really enjoy your channel, Roy.
Well, thank you, Red Lion Forge. I appreciate you. I'm glad it has been of service or value to you. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for the super chats. For those of you who are new here, who've just shown up into this stream, maybe you've come from somewhere else around the Ethernet there, around the net, the interwebs. If you guys are just new here, this sign changes if you haven't got it yet every time somebody super chats. And also, anytime that someone super chats, you guys get added to that pre-roll credit at the beginning of every live stream. Just our way of saying thank you as an additional bit of value for your support. Everything that you guys donate through Super Chat and stuff like that, that goes to help support what we do and the shipping of things all around the world and stuff like that. Also, I'll make real clear real quick, just in case anybody hadn't checked it out, all the rules and details about the giveaway items are down in the description down below. Because of the way how expensive it is to ship an Anvil worldwide, this is only to the continental 48 states, right? The lower 48, yes? So this is only to the lower 48 states, unfortunately. But all of the door prizes we do ship anywhere in the world. So your super chats go to help that out, and we thank you all so much for those. They have been a great blessing and a big help to doing what we're trying to do. So, and we had another one. What was those about?
Yes, no. Let's see. The yellow one was from Uncle Buck's Forge, who says, I'm at work, can't watch, but listening.
Awesome, Uncle Buck. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Is it on your mic or mine? It's on yours. Okay, it's on my mic. All right. Just, if I'm talking, it's okay since I'm muted out. Just, I'll say thank you, and they can hear me from a distance, I'm sure. I've got a really loud voice. Go ahead.
All right. And also thank you to Rodney Hendrickson for your light blue super chat, and Oak Creek Forge for the green super chat, who says thank you to all the vets in the stream.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Really do appreciate it. So, here we go, eh? Let's do it. All right. Go down to camera number 2, Jess. All right, so we put the final touches on this bracket. This is the wall bracket that will be going against the wall of this sign bracket. We did the flame detail, and I also did the other end. We did this end in the stream, and then I forged this end out in a video on YouTube. So you can go back and watch those if you would like. I did a whole video on making this flame detail here, and we did one in our last live stream. So the big task today is I need to actually punch a square hole, punch and drift a square hole in this for the square tenon of our arm. This part here is going to come off of the arm, as you see it just like so. So it's going to go into relation there, and there will be a tenon that will be drawn down, and it'll be traditionally joined on the back side, if that makes sense to you there. So we need to punch a hole here, and then we also need to put a tenon on this end. So we will be working predominantly on the arm tonight in this evening stream. And I've got some measurements and stuff, and we'll go into that here in just a little bit after we get this hole punched in nice and square-like. We go back to the main cam real quick, and I'm going to show the general pattern we're working from. There we go. So hopefully they can see that all right. Can they see that all right? Too bright, too dark? Good? Good stuff? Okay, so we will be working on this. So this is what we're ultimately shooting for. So we finished up the bracket. We're going to work on the arm piece this evening. Yep, drop that. We're going to work on the arm piece this evening, and then hopefully if we get further enough along on the arm piece, next week's live stream, not next week, but 2 weeks from now's live stream, when we go live again, we'll be working on the scrolly bits and putting that together. So we'll start the work on the scrolls. Hopefully we can finish that all up in one live stream. We'll have to see. There's some complexities around the scroll that I want to go over more in detail, but we're working to this pattern and this drawing. If you're following along, you can go to the previous live stream that we did last 2 weeks ago live stream. You can go to that and find out all the measurements that I wrote down on here. You can go there and look up those measurements if you want to follow along. But so that's what we're shooting for. The very first thing we're going to work on though is we're going to put a square hole through our little flamey bit here, our bracket. So let's get that hot, and Jessica, we'll take some more questions or comments.
All right, we have a Mythgard who says, how's it hanging, Smiths and Smithettes? It's going good, Mythgard. Glad to have you joining us in the live stream. Bar Run Forge says, Scrolly Bits are better with peanut butter. I suppose if you're looking to steal, yes, it probably would taste better with peanut butter. And he also says, hey, where's the kilt, Christ-Centered Ironworks?
I am not a kilt person. I am not a kilt person. My brother kind of went through the whole kilt phase, trying to do the kilt thing. He still likes them and swears by them, but I think I'll be buried in pants the day I die, so I'm going to stay in pants. So, and thank you all for the super chats, by the way. I have been noticing the sign changing a few colors, so thank you very much.
That particular one was from Angeli Adams, who says, God bless you all and I love you.
Hey, thank you, Mama. Love you too.
And there's a question for you. Jacob Visor asks, Roy, do you like working on tools or sculptures more?
That's pretty easy. Sculpture. I'm going to go with sculpture. Tools are fun, but they're to an end. I don't like manufacturing tools. I wouldn't say I'm a very good tool maker. I make tools to do the job, to work, to function, but I'm definitely more of a foo-foo-y smith. I like doing pretty things and putting my time towards that, kind of the ooh and ah factor. There can be just as much artisanship and craftsmanship and things like that into a tool, even a plain looking tool, just the simple elegance of getting everything square and done right, like say in a hammer. But my preference is to work on ornamental things. So, but people don't ooh and ah over a hammer that's a well-made hammer, except for maybe a blacksmith or something like that. But they might do that over a gate or a railing or something of that nature. Although I don't do a bunch of gates, railings, or very large architectural work, but the sculptural work that I have done, I enjoy that a lot more. So hopefully that answers that in detail. I think it did. Huh? Yep, still heating.
This next question comes from Matthew Schneider, who says, what is the belt that you are wearing?
The belt. It is an apron, not to belt. Oh, it is a custom apron that I had made by a guy by the name of Chip Brown at Brown Cow Art. He's a custom leather worker, and yeah, so it's just a lap apron. The belt, the portion here is reinforced with extra thickness, a really heavy cowhide leather, and the actual leather chaps themselves are made from buffalo hide themselves. And of course they've got flames on them. I don't know if anybody's seen the flames, the flame details at the bottom. Like I said, foo-foo-y Smith.
All right, we had 2 super chats come in. One was from Hans. The orange one says, only one tonight got laid off for an undetermined amount of time, so trying to get full-time smithing.
Thank you, Hans. I appreciate that. Yep, I feel you on that with everyone out there that has to work a regular day job that's getting laid off and things of that nature. You know, I appreciate the support even in your time of need as well. So I'm hoping, I'll pray for your family that your full-time smithing endeavor gets off without a hitch. So, right now is a good time. I'll go ahead and mention it. By the way, thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the super chats to everyone out there. We are almost up to temp here, so I won't waffle on too much about this, but probably is a good time to take and address it here. So there's a lot of things going on in our country right now, and a lot of people are worried, a lot of people are freaking out there and stuff. But I hope that tonight we can be a good source of positive and encouragement and entertainment for you, no matter where you're at. And and just to tell you, it's going to be all right. We'll all get through this stuff, and it'll be fine. And I hope that this stream will be a nice reprieve, right? A nice respite from all the other garbage on YouTube right now. Yeah, all the other exploitive garbage that's out there on YouTube right now. I hope this will be a nice reprieve from that, and that you guys will enjoy the instruction and things like that. So don't feel obligated to super chat, by the way. I understand exactly what everybody is going through and what everybody's position is. But one thing I would like to say, as just before we go on and get onto this project, is to start looking at this as a good chance to reanalyze where you're at in life. You know, oftentimes we think we're captains and we're masters of our own destiny, right? We think that we are the providers. We think we are the, you know, we're the main people, that we're going to get it done. And then there's something like this that comes along and it knocks you on your rear end, right? And it just reminds you and humbles you to realize how frail, how fragile, how precious life is and the things around you, and what you ought to be focusing on more. So you can use this time, like Hans, I'm going to use you as an example. Now might be that time to retrain, refigure, go after a full-time blacksmithing business, have that time to really work on projects or production line items and get them stocked up for fairs and things of that nature, where otherwise you wouldn't have had this chance to do that because you'd been working 90 hours a week, right? Just providing for your family. So take this time. I know a lot of Americans are going to go sit inside and sit on the rumpkus and not do anything with themselves, and just pig out on potato chips and hopefully the sky don't fall, right? But right now you can literally be doing something for yourself to do a change, make a big change in your life, because you don't really have a choice in the matter, right? A lot of adjustment has to happen, and so now's your chance to experiment with new things, you know, and try out new beginnings and take those leaps of faith that maybe you were sitting on the bench about, right? Maybe you were riding the bench a little bit and you're like, I don't know, it's a little dicey. I like my paycheck every week. Well, now that paycheck's gone every week, and now it's the time, right? Like now that's the time for you. So that's it. That's all I'm going to say on that. Hopefully that encourages someone out there to get out there and take advantage, take the opportunity that this is for you, and not to see it as a negative, but see it as a big positive in your life, that you can maybe make that change that you otherwise would have been too stiff-necked to do. All right, we ready?
Yes.
We good? We are. Any comments? Thank you all for the super chats. I don't know if it's changed anymore, but this thing's hot and we need to punch a hole.
All right, go for it.
So that's what we're gonna do. All right, this is good and hot. I have a 1/4-inch square punch here. I'm going to lay it on the anvil nice and flat like, and I'm going to find my center punch mark that's right dead center. Got to wait for it to cool enough to find the center punch mark. I know it's here somewhere. There's one. There's two. All right, found it. Sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you have to go at a little cooler heat. Reach down here, excuse me, bad camera angle. Sometimes you have to go at a little cooler heat and wait for it, just so this way you can find it. All right, that's definitely good and marked out. Try and use this real quick. I'll give it one more heat, give it one more good go. Hopefully they can see that square going on just fine. So I pre-laid this out before to be 1 inch or 25 millimeter from the crotch of this flame detail down. That's where that's going in at. That's where we're punching that in at. And you can see how I've got a little bullseye started on the back side. We will go ahead and heat this up one more time and drive that slug a bit more. We do not, we can go back to the main cam. We do not want to drive too much or really do a lot of drifting from the front side. We want that to have a nice, crisp, square shoulder, but on the back side, we want to develop the taper, you know, the taper of the punch. We want to do most of our drifting through the back side of that sign bracket. So this way there's a place for when we peen over our tenon, there's a hollow spot in there that then we can peen into, and it will hold our sign bracket the way it ought to be.
All right. Yes, I will. Let's see. The light blue one that was 3 back was from Harvey Lee, who says kilts are the best. Had to follow up on that combo. Let's see. The next one was yellow, was from Ouroboros Armory, Caitlin. She said, all stay safe and healthy. # Blacksmith family.
Right on.
And then the orange one that's up there now, that came in from Brandon Austin, who says, thank you for doing this, even though with everybody going on, with everything going on and a lot of sales and money lost, it's a good way to take the mind off things.
Yeah, it is. And you're very welcome. Thank you, Caitlin, Ouroboros Armory. Thank you very much for that super chat. Again, thank you everybody who's supporting that. It is my intention to keep running the live streams and to do whatever I can in whatever capacity. To me, it's just another day. It's just another day in the shop. I ultimately know who has my back, and that's Christ, so I'm not worried, you know. And he provides for me, and he's provided for me when I made $600 a month for my family to live off of. A family of, well, at that time it was a family of 4 and 1 on the way. And I was only making $600 a month at one time, and times were really super tight, but we never went hungry. We never went hungry. We were always able to pay our bills somehow, some way. I don't know how, but we did it at the time. And yeah, well, I do know the way, you know, I do know why. And so, yeah, it's another day in the shop. It's another day in the shop. Business will continue as usual around here. I'm going to give away as much as I can, as long as I can, you know. Now, obviously, if it's like I go 9 months without any orders or any supportive super chats or things like that, it might get a little tight around the forge to keep up with the giveaway items, but the live streams will continue nonetheless. So the show will go on. The show will go on. Yeah, I just thank you for everybody who's being here and being a part of it. One other way that you guys can really support Jessica and I, say you don't have the funds right now, right? Which a lot of people don't. And this, I'm not trying to turn this into a big a fundraising thing, but watch the videos that we put out. YouTube did not serve our last video that had plenty of forging content in it about my new dies on my power hammer. YouTube didn't serve it to, there's, I think it was what, 1,200 people it's finally up to now, and it took 3 days to get there. Yeah. And that might sound like a gripe, but there's a channel of 54,700 of you out there. Like, it's mind-boggling to me that there's only 1,200 views of that. And then a lot of people say, hey, I haven't gotten a video from you in months. It's just YouTube's not serving that type of content right now. They're just serving the garbage content that you see on trending. So that's what they're supporting right now, not the other regular craftsmanship. So if you really want to support creators around this time that people are teaching you and you're finding value online, watch their videos, put their videos on watch them all the way through. And, you know, maybe give them a like and a share and just let them know that you're thinking about them in that way. It's really a huge help. It really is, isn't it, Jess? I mean, it's super huge. You don't know how big and important that is to someone who's putting all their time into videos like this. And yeah, that's huge. You guys just being here signals to YouTube that, hey, this little channel out here, I know he doesn't have 1 million subs, but this little channel out here is worth something to promote. So, you know, just being here is support enough, and we thank you for it. We thank you for it. And thank you for the super chat.
Let's see, Brett Larson says, hopefully the YouTube views will help with supplemental income also.
Well, let's hope. The trick about the The trick about the YouTube views is it takes a whole lot of them, and you're not in control of those reins, so you don't get control over what you get paid or anything like that. So tomorrow they could say, hey, everybody under this bar, we're not paying you, and only pay their largest creators. They could do that, and there's literally nothing you could do about it. So not a sure bet. Definitely not hedge your bet on that, but hopefully that will work out in the extra views. But again, every little bit helps. Every view, every like, every little comment, it really does help. So thank you all. Thank you all who's been watching and doing that. This is hot. Let's take it out and let's do that. And then we'll acknowledge any more super chats. So now that we've got this fully hot again, and we can see our nice square hole, now we'll take it all the way down to the anvil top. It's bouncing off the anvil top. It's turning black. That's how you can tell that you're definitely there. Down inside the hole is actually turning a darker color than the rest of it. Ordinarily, I like to wait on this a little bit. I like to let it cool down a little bit before back punching it. That allows it to shear the plug a lot easier. There goes that. All right, and there's your hole. So we got a little square hole. Punching a square hole is no more difficult or different than punching a round hole. They literally are about the same in difficulty level. The only difference with a square hole is if it matters that the piece that you're making has to remain square in orientation. I'm just breaking up some of that stuck on scale from me running my mouth for 5 minutes. What I mean by that is if this is turned at a diagonal, you're going to have a star-shaped thing going through here. If you need to keep the arm, if you forge out a square tenon on here, it wouldn't help you for it to be like that going through there. So that's the only difficulty here, is just making sure that the square is indeed square. There's a little what I like to call snookering you can do. If it's a little off, not horribly off, but if it's just a little bit off, you can always heat it a little bit and just twist and get it back squared up. And you can do that a little bit. I'm not talking like this, but if it's just a little canted off ways, you can always make your tenon and then just give it a slight twist and get it squared up, and no one will know none the wiser. All right, so we got that square hole in there. We do, however, have got to drift it to a lot larger now. So this way there's a space for our rivet, for our tenon to go through. Questions, Jess? Come.
Yes. Let's see. The first super chat, the green one, was from Yamez, who says, "Exactly, Roy. The show must go on."
Thank you, Yamez. Again, love you, brother.
The other one was from Oddwood Forge, who says, "Y'all keep your chins up and we will weather the storm together."
Exactly, exactly. Thank you.
And there's a funny comment from Crocus Black, who says, "Man, coming to these is like coming to a family reunion. You got Granny Roy, you got Mrs. Jess, all the crazy and fun uncles, and we're all here together."
Said Granny Roy? Yeah. Well, you know, I don't know how to take that one, but there's worse names you could call me, so I'll take it. Granny Roy.
So nobody asked this specifically, but I have a question for you about the punching. Is there a limit on how large a square punch that you can use in the ironwork?
Nope. Heat and force, heat and force. That's it. So, I mean, obviously with a square punch, you can't exceed the width of your material. In general, when you're making holes through something like this for a tenon, you want the punch to match the thickness of the piece. So in this case, the thickness of the piece is 1/4 inch material. Now I'm going to drift it a little larger, but this is 1/4 inch thick material or 6 mil thick material that's in the fire. And the square punch I'm using is 1/4 inch in cross section, right? Or 6 mil in cross section. So that's kind of just a general rule of thumb. Of course, if it's 3/8 or 1/2 inch thick and you try to punch a 1/4 inch hole through, it's going to be bigger than 1/4 inch when you're done with it. It's just going to be, because you have to drift it. You have to drive that punch down a lot deeper, which then widens the hole quite a bit out at the surface. So that's just a general rule of thumb, is whatever the material thickness is. So if it's say 3/8, you can do up to say a 3/8 inch square in that 3/8 inch thick bar. Again, granted, as long as you got enough width in the bar. Great question, Jessica. Man, full of it today. Good questions. What else?
Justin Ray sent the yellow super chat, who says, God bless you guys. Love learning from fellow believers.
Thank you. God bless you.
There is a question from Brett Larson, who says, when you were less experienced, how did you help keep everything straight and in line together? Did you free sight it, or did you use a guide?
So, great question. Actually, that's a good one. I would really like to answer that one. So first of all, thank you to those who super chatted. Second off, to answer that question, when I first got started, I put this thought process right up front in my mind of almost a Puritan type thought process when I got into blacksmithing to begin with. I didn't want no electricity. I didn't want no power tools. I only wanted to do it like they would have done it, 1,000 years ago, right? Like that was my mindset when I got in. And part of that mindset was not to use any sort of gauges or rulers and try to learn to do everything just by sight. Just look at things by sight and judge the material based upon that. That was both good and bad. Good because it helped me get to a point where, again, I can gauge I've got ways of just looking at something and saying, yeah, that'll be enough material. And I can go after it with experience now. And, being able to line something up in the middle, I don't necessarily have to find center with a center marker or anything else. I do, however, if I have to be accurate or for a client or a job. So when I first got started, I put a real big burden on myself to try to do nothing but hand-eye coordination the whole way, the whole bit of the way. That only helped me in accelerating when I started using things like gauges and rulers and finding centers and center punch marks and layout work and things like that. It only helped aid in that later on. Because even though you may lay something perfectly out and you get it perfectly center, and all your marks are lining up, and then those marks disappear in the fire, and it's kind of like a critical hit, and you kind of, it's a critical heat, and you kind of just have to do it. It really helps in that result. So, but if you're a beginner and you're struggling with that, and you're wrecking a bunch of projects, maybe Christmas projects or something like that, there's no shame in whipping out the markers and using rules and gauges and things like that, especially when you need to repeat a process a bunch of times, like bottle openers or something like that. Certainly now, if I do anything, the reason for the new dies is so this way I could really hammer out a bunch of those chisels and punches for these live streams. And I'm not going to have to eyeball, although I can, a bunch of tapers. No, I just made a slanted die that hammers a steady, consistent taper into a piece. It takes the guesswork out of it for me. I just stick a hot piece of metal underneath there and get to whacking and hammering. There's still a little bit of hand skill and there's skill involved, but not nearly as much as the skill that would be to take and draw it out all by hand and eye coordination and get everything even. Hopefully that answers that. Good. Thank you for the super chat. This is hot. Let me drift it, and then we'll go back, okay? Scrape off some of this little excess scale here. So now I'm going to support it here on my leg. We'll go over the hardy hole. And we're just going to drift that open just a little bit. That's looking pretty good. I'm going to leave this kind of pucker out just a little bit not by much from that drifting process. We're going to let that pucker just a little bit. So there's a little concavity there. And I'm going to go ahead and go one more time with it. And that's about all I want to go with it there. Again, I'm just kind of hammering down around the outside of it. It's kind of pooching out a little bit is the best way I can explain it. Hopefully they can see that on camera. There's a little bit of a depression now for this piece. Also, when you leave a piece heating up and exposed to airflow, you're going to have a lot more scale, forging scale, develop on your piece. I try really hard under normal circumstances not to allow that to happen. But when doing live streams, it's almost impossible not to have some form of excess scaling due to the time it takes to talk about the work. So all I'm doing here is just breaking up that extra heavy scale off the surface. Make sure everything's square. Looks like it. All right. And that there is done. That's plenty. So now what we're dealing with there is about a 5/16 inch square tenon. So that's what I'll draw down on my bar stock. It really helps to make this hole too first before you draw the tenon on your arm piece. So this way you know what to fit the tenon to. If you make the tenon first, then you have to kind of eyeball and mess around and monkey around a whole lot, unnecessarily so, with this square piece, if that makes sense. Any questions, Jess? You can pose them out there.
All right. I'll start with the super chats because those came in first, and there's quite a few questions. The first, let me go back here. Let's see, orange super chat from Ghost Forge, who says, "Howdy y'all, it's been a while. Hope everyone is burning up the virus in your forges."
Howdy, howdy. Thank you.
And the next one was from Toby Joe 57, 500 Filipino pesos, who says, "Hi, Roy and Jess. I just joined in as I only just got the notification here. I can't get back to the UK. I'm grounded here in the Philippines for an extra month because of the virus. Plus side is 0 cases reported on our island."
What did he say? But there's 0 cases reported? Cool. That is a positive thing. Way to look at the bright sides.
Let's see, G. Taylor asked if there's an advantage to a square versus a round hole, or is it just the aesthetics?
Yeah, hold on one second. The advantages, is it back on my mic? Okay. Okay. So, first off, thank you everyone for the super chats. Tobio, thank you. Thank you everybody for the super chats. Really do appreciate that. To answer the question about is there an advantage? So the advantage is that your piece won't swivel on you. A square hole helps square everything up and it's not going to turn. It's not going to rotate on you. So once you get it in there, you get it hammered tight, once you get it peened good and tight in there, that tenon, everything's going to stay nice and square for you once you've squared it and made sure that it's square. It's going to stay locked in place. Not so much with a round. A round hole can rotate. Other than that, if there's going to be a bunch of other multiple joints where multiple places, so say I was splitting the end of the bar and then I was going to rivet through, that can be round. That doesn't have to be square. It doesn't matter because there's 2 points of contact, so that's going to stop it from spinning or rotating. Once the whole piece is together, you won't have to worry about this rotating because there will be scroll work that's riveted and the whole bit, so you won't have to worry about this bar spinning. But until you get that, this bar can turn and get off canter on you by being able to roll around. Also, it's a lot easier to create a square tenon than it is a round tenon. It alleviates a couple steps, right? You don't have to go to the octagon to round, right? So you don't have to go to that octagon shape and then go to round. You just eliminate those steps. You're just forging out a straight square tenon. And that's a lot easier in that way. So yeah, it really doesn't matter in this project other than just some of the advantages is that this will help keep it square. So if you have a round hole punch and that's all you're doing, go ahead and make a round tenon and put it through there. But you'll notice that this will want to rotate on you a little bit, which may or may not be something that you're wanting it to do. Good?
Yeah.
Okay, what else?
All right, Bar Run Forge says, I just came across about 4 tons of heating coke. Any suggestions? The chunks are a little big.
4 tons of heating coke. Bust it with a hammer, sledgehammer. So if you got big chunks, get a sledgehammer, good 12-pound sledge, and just come straight down on them. That'll usually bust it up. Make sure you wear some goggles or something like that. Yeah, a good splitting maul. You know, like a good splitting maul. Really, you can whack through big chunks of stuff pretty easy. That's the only advice I'd have with you. Just make sure to work it down to pieces that are about no more than maybe 2 inches across at the largest and 1/2 inch or so across the smallest, and you'll be in good shape. Just get to hammering. There's my advice.
That one came from Doe Creek Forge, who said, is there a square monkey tool?
Yeah, you can make one. So generally, whenever you do something square, or when I do something square for a square tenon, I actually just come over to the vise in order to upset the shoulders. I just come in with a set hammer in on the shoulders and hammer them. So I don't need a monkey tool necessarily to drive down on the piece. And also, one of the other things that's pretty indicative to a square tenon, if you will, is a lot of times you just file it. You file the shoulders all nice and square and parallel to make that final fit up. So you don't really need a monkey tool. You could make a monkey tool, just like anything else. You know, you'd probably drill it and maybe drift it square and do that if you needed a square tenon monkey tool. Pre-drill, always pre-drill. So say if you needed a 1/4 inch square monkey tool for a 1/4 inch tenon, square tenon, you would want to start with maybe something like an 1/8 inch hole that you drilled maybe 2.5 inches deep or so, and then you would go back in with a 1/4 inch square punch and then drive that 1/4 inch square punch in so far to get it started, and then finish out with maybe like a bit of key stock, like a 1/4 inch square bar key stock, and then work it down over it. And then that would create you a square pocket or a hole that you could have a square tenoning tool. Usually, like I said, there's not really a need. You can come over to the vise and there's enough access because it's not working with a radius. There's enough flat spots there, square flat spots, that you can get ahead of the edge of them with a set hammer or a butcher tool or something like that. It's generally a lot easier versus taking the chance of getting a tool like a monkey tool stuck because it bends or brads over a little bit. Good?
Yes.
Yeah. And thank you for the super chats. Thank you everybody who's done this. So let's move on to the next part, shall we? Okay. All right, so next part of this process, we are going to work from the very end of the bar. That's going to be the decorative part out at the end. Now on my drawing, I did not take and draw out the decorative end that I'm doing on this end, just because I hadn't decided what I wanted yet. I just knew I had a general length I wanted to stay in confounds wise. So I've went ahead and measured in from one end 2 inches or 50 millimeters. Can they see that okay on the camera, Jess? Okay. I measured in, and we're going to split this, and we're going to make a split scroll here on the end. Then from that, I came back 1 inch or 25 millimeters, and that's where we're going to punch a round hole this time, punch and drift a round hole through this piece to be able to create where our eyelet for our chain will go for our sign. Then it's 8 inches between those two marks to the next hole from the end of the bar. Or, well, from this mark here. From where this hole is, there's 8 inches of span between them, or 200 millimeters. Then from there, there's another mark to where we're going to be riveting the scroll work to it, which is 212.5 millimeters. So basically 8.5 inches from there to there. And then finally, we have this final bit. This is just locating that hole. It's 125 millimeters off of the back plate here. And then there's an additional 1/2 inch of material, or 12.5 millimeters for the tenon. That's what I'm going to butcher in on and create the tenon. But we're going to work from the end of the bar with the scrolly bits, and then we'll work across by punching and drifting this hole, punching and drifting this hole, and then finally drawing the tenon down. Hopefully that makes sense. And hopefully they saw all that. Look good? Make sense? All right. So hopefully that'll work out really well. So we're going to start that. I've got a nice wide slitting chisel, by the way. I don't know, are we at the anvil still? I've got a really nice wide slitting chisel that's about 1.25 inches, almost 1 3/8 inches, probably like 1 5/16 inches or so wide. And that's going to make this job go really easy for this. If you got a narrower slitting chisel, you just have to take more bites. What's going on, Jess?
Ernie Beeswick was just mentioning for everybody to keep an eye on their steel if they're out in the forge and watching at the same time. He said he just burnt his steel up.
Keep an eye on their steel, huh? Yep. Smart man. How long have we been streaming for, Jess?
We have been streaming for 47 minutes if you don't include the pre-roll. And we are at 243 viewers watching.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being here. Okay. So while that heats up, I need to chomp it down just a little bit. I don't need it to be as much air coming through there. So while that heats up and gets ready, why don't we go ahead and give away something? What do you think?
Yeah.
Sound good?
Yeah.
I don't know. Does it sound good to them? Does it sound good to you?
You could just stand there suspended midair for like the 30 or 45 second delay it takes for them to actually type back. Be like, doo 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 doo.
Forever to get around to it. So, all right, let's go ahead and give away our first slitting chisel and square punch of the evening. How's that sound? Okay? All right, for those of you that don't know, basically you just comment down in the comment section something, and we just draw a random name at leisure from the comment section. So just start putting in your comments now, and at the end of the drum roll, Jessica's going to pick someone, and this is for the slitting chisel. You ready? And drum roll.
All right, I landed on Josh Smith's overall forge, who says, sounds good.
Hey, cool. Josh Smith, congratulations. Overall forge, hopefully you enjoy this nice little slit and chisel here. Hopefully that will work out well for you. Yeah. Oh, and it's hot. Take down that airflow just a little bit more. So Josh, Overall Forge Company, congratulations. All right, let's go ahead and give away the square one real quick, and then we'll get back to hammering. So here's a square punch. And who wins it?
All right, this is going to Viper Chuck E, who says, yo.
Yo, Viper Chuck E. Congratulations, you won the square punch. If you won it, sir. Again, everybody who wins, you just have to comment. You just have to get with us through the contact link in the description. Get with us so we can send it to your address, free of charge. Thank you for being here. Congratulations.
I'll
More of those here? Probably right after this heat. How's that sound, Jess? Okay. A lot of work to get on, huh? Before it's too late. All right. So this is good and hot. Let's go over to the anvil. All right, we're going to stand it up on in. And I'm going to start my chiseling. Now I'm going to try to go to the middle of this. So I don't want all my cutting to go from just one side. I'm trying to make these two lines meet in the middle. Got it cut there. I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to start cutting a little from the other side. Take your time, be slow and methodical. By the way, this is a quick way of creating a split in the bar stock. Hopefully I can see that. See how it's cut into center?
Yep.
Okay, we'll take one more good heat on that, and then we'll go on through. This is a really good way of getting a good straight cut on bar stock, is to go from each side like this for the length of the cut versus coming in from the end of the cut like this. Chances are for something this long, you're going to get some drifting. The bar is going to drift. Your cutter is going to drift from one side to the other as you go, versus coming down here, you create and establish in a line already right off the gate. So splitting it that way is a better way to go. All right, we'll heat that back up, take some more comments, questions.
All right, we had Steve Watkins says, late to the party, but Minion Smithy in the house. And thank you for the super chat.
Thank you.
Also, we had Red Lion Forge with the green super chat that's up there currently that says, thanks again for the great content, Roy and Jess.
Very welcome. Thank you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for supporting it. Thank you to all my regular supporters. We really do appreciate you. Can't say that enough.
Ulf Peterson says, I waited to say something till it was over. Smiley face. Hey, ya folks, and hey, you too. Be safe.
Hey, Ulf. Good to have you. Thank you for dropping by. Hope you come back someday soon.
Let's see. Bobby 4M Metalworks asked if a store-bought cold chisel can be used as a hot chisel.
It can if you regrind it. Usually the grind on a hot chisel, on a like a slitting chisel, is a lot more acute. So it is a very narrow grind, as where a cold chisel is going to have a very blunted grind, which isn't as conducive for cutting through material. So you can just regrind that and narrow it a bit, and it would work just fine, yes.
There is a comment from G. Taylor who says, Roy and Jess, thank you. I have watched tons of your vids, and this live stream is like a classroom and a coffee break together. Good folks, good info, great times.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for being here. All right, we ready? Let's go back over to the anvil. Okay, we've got this piece nice and hot again. Go right back down to chiseling through it. Again, I'm going to make those two lines try to meet up in the middle. It's right there. Now, ordinarily, bounced it. We're almost there. So really what I like to do at this point is I like to go to the vise and just split it straight down through this way. Barring that, I'm going to put it up on here on the next heat on this hot cut hardy, and I will drive it down just like you see it there to take and open it up the rest of the way to kind of work on that webbing. Hopefully that makes sense. That'll help to spread that end bit too as well. You can go back to the main cam. Okay. Hopefully audio is still doing good and all that jazz.
There was a question a little earlier about how long ago did you start blacksmithing?
I don't know. Keep me straight and honest, Jess. How long ago was that?
Well, it was a year after we were married, roughly, the summer. So, yeah, so about 12 years in total.
Yeah, it's coming up on 13. It's coming up on 13, yeah. Yeah. So 12 years, there we go. We'll just call it 12 years. Just listen to Jess, don't listen to this guy. I'll steer you wrong.
Ulf, thank you for the magenta super chat. He says some martial help from Norway, smiley face.
Thank you, Ulf. God bless you, brother. Really do appreciate it. I was actually getting worried about you there a little while ago. I was thinking about you. I hadn't seen you around in the chats for a while, and so I was going to contact you if it went much longer. It's good to know you're alive. All the way from Norway. We gotta visit with you, huh? Yeah. Jessica and I'm planning an anniversary trip at some point all the way to go to Switzerland for our 20-year anniversary, huh? When we get there. Yep. So hopefully we could do that and then like visit all the little countries right around it in Norway. And I call them little, I mean, relativistically, a lot of the countries over there can all fit inside USA. So it's kind of like traveling around the United States. I figured it'll be my first time out of country, so run around as much as I can. So thank you, Ulf. Thank you so much, brother. God bless you for the support and the super chat. Really do appreciate you. All right, we ready? Let's go back here. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good and hot. We're going to put it right up on top. Drive that all the way to the bottom of the cut. All right, and there we go. That's nice and open. And there's enough heat here. I'll go ahead and trade out hammers. I think I can open it up just a bit more. And that'll allow me to start working out those ends. Good. There you have it. Now we can start working out those ends, driving them out.
Someone asked for your best dad joke.
That's it. Silence. Yeah, if you're a dad, you'll understand that one.
Casey Chan says, what did you do before blacksmithing?
I did heating and air conditioning. Pretty easy. Not a lot to say about it. It's a trade I love to hate, hate to love, and everything in between. I would have probably kept on doing heating and air conditioning if it wouldn't been the fact that I got myself into working for residential companies. I really enjoyed the industrial and light commercial, light commercial and industrial work. When I had to start working for the civilians, I guess you would say, going house to house and door to door on a day in, day out, swapping furnaces and air conditioners, that really killed the love and the fun real quick for doing heating and air. So, but yeah, that's what I used to do in various forms and formats. And for about 8 months, I worked as a pipe fitter. Somewhere in that span of time. For about 8 months, I worked as a pipe fitter. So it wasn't all just heating and air conditioning. I should have stuck with the pipe fitting. I would have made a lot more money than doing the HVAC thing. But I was young, I was dumb. I wanted to just stay with pipe fitting. I just wanted to stay with heating and air because it was, to me at that time, it seemed easier than the pipe fitting thing, or more interesting. So there you have it. Yeah, there's the pre-Roy.
I asked Ulf what he did, and he says, I work with mentally challenged people and people with anger issues, smiley face. And Debacamaker answered, oh, so other blacksmiths, Ulf? And then he said, yes.
Yeah, it's good. Yep, other blacksmiths. All right, we're almost there.
Doe Creek Forge was funding your Roy rant with a $2 super chat.
Hey, awesome. Thank you. Was I in a rant here recently? Am I starting to get old and I'm starting to forget these things? No? When was it? What was it? Was it the HVAC one? That wasn't a rant. I don't know. Oh, well, clarification. But thank you anyhow. Thank you for the super chats, ladies and gents. Thank you. All right. So this is almost hot, almost to where we want it. Good to go. I'm going to work that out here in just a moment. Notice. Let's go ahead and give away some sticker packs, Jess, while we wait on that final little bit of heat. Again, if you guys want to get in on this, the Year of the Anvil sticker pack, like so. All these great stickers. Can't beat them, can't beat them. Drop your comments now. You ready, Jess?
All right, I am going to go with Kayla Clark, who says stickers.
Kayla Clark. Congratulations. Get with us in the contact section down below. Contact us. Also, ready? Good. We're going to draw the second sticker pack. And who we got?
All right, this one is Simeon Cessna, who says sticker pack.
Hey, Simeon Sessa. Congratulations for the sticker packs. Congratulations. Get with us through the contact link. All right. Back to this. We're ready to forge. Ready to go to the anvil? All right, let's do this. All right, here we go. We're going to start drawing this piece out. You want to take care of hammering that webbing flat first and foremost before you start drawing out the rest of this material. You want to make sure that webbing is hammered down flat, otherwise it'll roll over and create like a cold shut. That nice and squared up. All right, so there's one hammered out. Hopefully you guys can see that. Looks okay? Good. All right, now we'll hammer out the other leg. How many people we got in the chat, Jess?
We have 283 viewers.
Awesome.
And we have a question that comes in from the Wanderer, who says, how much does that hammer weigh?
1 3/4 pounds. Just shy of 2 pounds. Oh. And this is my daily driver. I've used it now for 7 years, Jess? Yes? About 7 years? Yep. See, gotta ask her. Gotta ask the boss. She tells me things.
Yamas did say I'm the queen of the kingdom. So he said all of the moderators are my minions. So
There you go. Yep, that's right. Don't anger the queen of the kingdom, or the minions will get you. Cool.
Michael Robertson asked if you've done any copper bowls lately.
Nope, none here lately. So I basically got out of that kind of work to pursue other interests. It's a really good business for me for quite a while, but I still offer them, but at a lot less rate. Like I don't a lot of my super popular stylings and things like that I was doing, the copper bowls and vessels, I took a lot of those offline just because I'm tired. I've made thousands of them and I'm done. So I'm done. So we're moving on to greater and better things. So that's what I've been doing here lately. And that's, in fact, during this time frame, you all may have noticed that there's not a lot of forging videos right now. There are some coming up. Actually, this upcoming week, there will be a lot of different forging videos coming on. But those are just filler videos between the next video series, which I'm going to be doing an actual frame like this, but it's going to be a French Baroque style frame. And then I've also got a job coming up this spring that I'll be working on. Well, later in the spring, probably early summer, I'll be working on a 16-foot wide entry gate, again in a Baroque styling. So yeah, moving on to other things. Don't have time to do the copper bowl work anymore. And I still have two gentlemen that bought some custom hammers from me a long while back, and I have to continue to work and press on those. So yeah, so that's what I've been up to. But if you guys haven't seen any of there'll be new forging content that will be coming. It just takes a lot longer to shoot this new style that I'm going with. Hopefully improving quality and everyone's attention span through watching the entire videos. Hopefully that will work out and pan off. One of my most recent videos I just put out, there's about 3 minutes of me talking up front, and then the rest is just all solid forging after that. It's about an 8-minute video, and the average view duration of somebody watching it is about 3 minutes. So there's like 5 minutes of footage not watched after it, and it's all forging. It's all forging related stuff, so find that funny. But ready? Yeah. Move on. You there? You there? Okay. All right, let's hammer this out. So now I'm working on the next one. This one I'm going to do a little bit different of an approach on. This is going to be more of like a fishtail. Scroll. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to have to get it on the horn here to get it straightened out. Perfect. I think. Might draw that out just a bit more. I'd like to add just a little bit more to that, so we'll clean that up a bit more and take one more heat on it. So one I've drawn out into kind of more of a ribbon scroll look. So it's going to be a long scroll versus this one that's going to be more of a fishtail scroll look. Cool?
There is a question from K1LXU who says, is 01 tool steel a good steel for a hot cut hardy tool?
01 can be a good tool steel for that. I have not used a lot of 01 myself. The O in that designator, the 01, is an oil hardening tool steel. So, you know, be aware of that. As far as I've seen, 01 can be a really good steel. A lot of people will swear by it, like W1, 01. They'll swear by it, but they do require special heat treatment to get the best out of the tool steel. Usually for hardy tools, things that you're going to be striking on and stuff, hot cut hardies and stuff, I usually suggest using something like 1095, 1075, something in the 10 series. You know, 1045 can work. That's what this is. My hardy tool is a 1045 hardy, and it's lasted for a really long time. Just because it's a simple steel, and because of it being a simple steel, it's a lot easier to heat treat in your home shop without any special ovens or anything like that. Versus the 01, which can be a little bit more finicky. You can still oil quench it and do basic stuff like you would with like a 5160 or something of that nature. But you're still going to have, in order to get the best out of the steel, you're going to have heat treatment, proper heat treatment ovens and things. Thank you for the super chats, by the way. Everybody's been doing those, been noticing on the backdrop. It's just getting dark enough now that I can actually see the sign a little bit.
Yeah, I think we had a slight malfunction because that one was actually a blue one from Island Metal Forge Yamez. It was a mustache for $1.49, but it turned it like red, which is like the $100 super chat. So you've been elevated, Yamez.
Nonetheless, Yamez. That's great.
Crocus Black says, Roy, have you ever done a 3-way split on one of those? And if so, how did you round and taper those without losing your mind?
I didn't hear that. What'd you say?
Roy, have you ever done a 3-way split on one of those? And if so, how did you round and taper those without losing your mind?
I'm assuming you're kind of like for a rush light or something of that nature. It's all about heat control. So if you're going to work one leg, if you did a 3-way split on this, I have done that before in flat bar stock. So one side I made into a leg, so I made like a trivet kind of thing, a 3-way deal. In order to do that, it's all about heat control. Put the heat where you want it and no heat where you don't. Really difficult to do in a gas forge. If you put it in a gas forge, you're always going to be struggling with something bending or getting in the way, things like that. One of the other things you can do, and I've showed it before, and I illustrated actually in the last live stream on this, you give yourself what they call a conveniency bend. So one leg gets bent out of the way, and you work on forging out just the other leg, then it gets bent out of the way, and the leg that you originally bent out of the way comes back, and then you forge it out. So that's called a conveniency bend, and that's a pretty common way of handling that. Let's go over to the anvil, Jess. You there? Yep. All right. All right, we're going to finish drawing this out just a bit more. Make sure our draw's even from both sides. And we'll go ahead and hammer it over the horn a bit. Just open that up a bit more. Straighten our bar stock down without deforming it too much. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Okay, that looks decent enough. Look good, Jess? Look good to you? Good. All right, there we are. I'm going to go ahead and draw out this ribbon leg just a little longer. I think I'm going to need a little extra length for what I'm about to do. So I'm going to go ahead and draw that out now. So as you can see, I'm trying to heat one leg without messing with the other. We can go back to main cam. We're there? Okay. So I'm trying to heat up the one leg without messing with the other. So I'm keeping one leg out of the fire, one leg in the fire. So it's literally grazing right along the side. Excuse me for a second, nose is running. It is like 20 degrees now. Excusez-moi. Just don't nobody tell the CDC I'm touching my face. I touch my face if I wanna. And lick my hand after.
Jay Johnson asked, for general steel stock, do you prefer hot rolled or cold rolled?
Hot rolled, preferably. It's a little nicer to work with straight from the factory. I like hot rolled. It's a little nicer to work with right off the factory. Cold rolled or cold finish, sometimes you'll get it pickled and oiled and stuff. So it has its own little difficulties, but it can be nicer if you're doing something where you need a good registering point. So like in key stock or something where you need really nice crisp edges, if you're doing a bunch of little S-hooks and things, that it makes a little nicer twists and things like that, you know, because it's such sharp edging, it really kind of highlights really well. Some of that can be nice for those reasons, but generally, if I can get hot rolled, I will, and it's cheaper. It's cheaper to get hot rolled because the size is not perfectly set to size. The tolerances are looser, and it gives you more expression room myself. But thank you all for the super chats, by the way. I didn't see the sign change. We'll get to those here in a second. Let's go to the anvil and I draw this out. Okay. All right. I want to thin this out really good here. I'm trying to keep the profile thickness. I'm trying to keep the width the same as the original parent bar stock while thinning the thickness. Give myself a really nice, elegant scroll here. I like to call this foofy work that I'm doing here fun for all ages, sizes, and things of that nature, because as you can tell, I'm not wailing like crazy on this. This is really just me bouncing the hammer and getting work done. So I really like being able to do that myself. All right, that's good to go.
The blue super chat was from Doe Creek Forge, who says, need to make a hood for my coal forge. Any advice?
Best advice I can give you is I would go around to some different online forums. I think years ago there was a page on iForge Iron that had really good advice about building, you know, different types of hoods and stuff. Usually you want the square inches, the free square inches or cubic inches of the opening to be the same or equal out to the same as the smokestack. So whatever the smokestack is, you want the opening to be the same, and then you want to provide a smoke shelf inside of that. You can go to doing some Google image searches on smoke shelves and how to build a chimneys, things like that, and you'll pull up a lot of really good diagrams to look at there. That's the best advice I can give you without having to go into a whole lot of math and figuring things out for you on camera. So that would be my suggestion to you. And if you're still not sure, you can always maybe call your local heating and air conditioning expert too and ask them about sizing things for a forge. Tell them what you're doing, you know, and then they should be able to pull up their calculators really quick and tell you like how big of a vent pipe you need and whatnot for your free airspace where you're at, because that has a lot to do with it as well. A lot of people, you focus a lot on the forge itself, but you don't focus on the building that you're in. Do you have enough makeup air that's coming into the building in order to supply the forge with enough draft? If you don't, it's going to downdraft on you. So if you're in a really sealed up building, and you're not pulling in enough combustion air, it's going to backdraft and it's going to downdraft on you, and you're going to get a bunch of smoke in your building. Also, you build it too big and you're open too free, it'll still blow right back down and blow out into your shop. It's worth taking the extra time in designing the venting system if you're designing a forge hood. Some people, they just have a simple pipe. It comes down and there's just a pipe that sticks out over their forge and it sucks it through. That way it has enough draft. You know, they'll take an 8 or a 10-inch pipe and stick it right over their forge, and that provides enough draft that it carries out a good amount of their smoke. So it can be relativistically simple, but if you want really good draft, that would be my suggestions. Because you can give a HVAC guy, I've got the books and the manuals inside the house, but it's, you know, the free airspace, the combustion airspace, how much combustion air you've got coming in versus how much is going to be drafting out will take and really affect how your stuff draws. So, yeah, that'd be my thing around that. Hopefully that wasn't too bad of a long-winded answer. Not too bad? Am I good? Okay. Have I lost everybody? Everyone's gone. Everyone left.
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. I set this aside because I want to give some more stuff away. Because let's face it, there's a lot of people here who want to be here for the giveaway stuff.
Can I say the super chats first before they scroll away?
Yeah, go on. Let's do a super chat.
All right. I know they're going to scroll away if we don't, so let's see. Texas Not So Slim was the yellow one who said, nicely done. All your work is appreciated, at least by me.
Was that it? Okay. You're very welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And then there was two from Thomas Brighton. One was light blue, and then the other one was yellow, who says, really appreciate all of the videos that you make available.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. And for all of those that are thirsty for more forging content, there are just under 1,400 videos here on YouTube for you to enjoy. Trust me, you will be back to work, and all this nonsense in the world will be over and done before you get through that pile of videos. So, and about 900 or so of those, at least 900 of those, are tutorials, forging tutorials. So some of them aren't so great, I'm going to tell you. Some of them I'm long-winded in. I talk a lot. Everyone knows that around the net. I don't care. I got the gift of gab. Yeah, that's all I'll say about that. You know, you can really get lost. Get lost in the channel. So, all right, we're going to give away 2 more of these. We're going to give 2 of these away. Then we're going to go ahead and give away the anvil the next time I get a chance, okay? We'll give away the anvil and then the tongs. How's that sound?
All right.
Sound good? Sound good to you all? All right, good. All right, are they excited? Are they commenting?
Yes, they
Are their fingers bleeding yet?
Maybe.
All right, so just like before, we'll give away the slitting chisel first and foremost. Oh, are we at the anvil or at my face? All right, so we're going to give away the slitting chisel. Jessica's going to draw a name at random. And here we go.
All right, this one is going to Ghost Forge, who says bacon.
Ghost Forge, congratulations, bacon. Now you've got something you can chop that bacon up with. Get a hold of us through that contact link. We appreciate you being here. All right, let's go ahead and give away this square one. This way, the square punch. Ready? And
All right, and this one goes to Jacob Stevens, who says everything.
Jacob Stevens, everything. I don't know what you mean by that, but congratulations. Contact us at the contact link down below. Appreciate you. And you know what, while we're here, just so I don't forget about it because it is so small, Drayson's Forge, right, Drayson? Yep. Drayson's Forge sent us over one of these little tiny tongs. I don't know if they can see that well enough in the plastic wrapper. Yeah, kind of. I don't know, I can pull it out here. Let me pull it out here. Again, thank you everyone who contributes to the super chats, watching the videos, all that good stuff. You guys are what are making these giveaways and things like that possible. So thank you very much for your support. We do appreciate it. So there you go. Can they see those? Great job by Drayson's Forge. Really do appreciate that. There's a bunch of these left too. So thank you so much for those. We'll be giving those away. These are like little special, little memento gifts. He really did a great job, and they actually function as tongs. So some super small bar stock. Tongs for mice, basically. Tongs for mice. All right, we'll give that away. All you gotta do is comment down below if that's what you want. Ready, set, off to the races. Who we got?
All right, this one landed on Island Metal Forge, who says tiny tongs, 2 exclamations.
Ha ha! Yamez, see, you hang around long enough, eventually you'll win one. Congratulations, Yamez. Thank you, Drayson's Forge, for providing those. I also did not mention that the sticker packs were provided us by Dana Maggiore. Again, thank you for that. And Couch Forge Company provided the tongs from Kin's Custom Iron. Thank you very much for that huge donation as well to making these streams awesome. And thank you to everyone who is basically paying the shipping bill. We really appreciate you. We super, super appreciate you. Thank you very much. All right, we're going to put the fishtail scroll back in the fire, and that's the part we're going to work on first. Now I've got some thin parts here that I'm going to have to watch to make sure I don't burn up. That's going to be key here. I don't want to burn up these thin ends, so I'm going to be checking these on the regular while Jessica reads out comments. Maybe.
Maybe. I totally popped up another window just before you said that. Drayson Sport says, Roy, I'm glad I could contribute.
Sir, you have done more than your fair share of contributing. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
There was a question from earlier I did not get a chance to read, and that was, how do you know when the coke is done burning? Like, when is it useless? How can you tell on the physical characteristics?
The coke itself will turn to ash and clinker. That's it. It doesn't have any other characteristics when it's done burning. The coke burns to ash, and that's it. So it'll be just dust that'll be coming up out of the forge all over the place. You'll get grit behind your ear. That's your spent coke there. It'll do that, and you'll also see it show up. The coke will, it'll just be ash. Little tiny bits of ash is what it burns up to, almost to completion. So there's really not a whole lot you could do about that. It just is. Now on green coal, it'll do the same thing. It'll convert from, you'll go from green coal, if you're working with green coal, it'll go from green coal to breeze to coke to ash. And that's it. It's used up. And during that process, it produces clinkers. Somebody asked me in one of the things, one of my videos here recently, it was a comparison video on coke versus coal. They had said, but I thought that coke had no clinkers in it. That was the whole purpose of having coke, and that's just not so. Basically what happens is yes, the coke has been basically cooked out of all of its sulfurs and all of its, basically all the tars and the different things that would turn it to breeze, from green coal to breeze. And then as it converts from breeze to coke, it cokes out, or you cook out a lot of the clinkers that would be associated with it, but it still has some of those byproducts of those elements and silica in it. Plus, you have to understand they're scooping this stuff up off the ground, so they're getting dirt and junk and sand and other road grime and you name it in it, so it'll still produce clinkers. Coke will. At least I have not found coke yet that didn't produce a clinker. So it's just kind of a subject matter of it. Good question. All right, are we ready? I'm ready. It's hot. Let's go to the anvil. We good? Okay. All right, so we're going to take our fishtail scroll here, and we're going to go ahead and start bending around the horn of the anvil. And then I'm going to start rolling it in to create a little roll there. Adjust it. Make it to where I like it. Always with a fishtail scroll, you'll end up with one side that you end up liking more than the other. I don't know why, it just is. Like one side got a little bit of a flat on it where the other side was just perfectly round. So a lot of times it's just the way that you're canting and hitting. But there's a little fishtail scroll there. Now, probably when I have more time, I'll clean this up a little bit. I'll adjust this a bit more with some tongs. I'll get all finessey with it and tweaky with it. But for the purpose of the video, I don't really need to. That's good enough for what we're doing. There'll be some cleanup work and stuff I'll have to do off camera, but it's just file work and things of that nature. So hopefully I can see that. Look good? Look good? Can they see it? All right. Now for the next piece.
Tommy Smith, thank you for the $2 super chat. He says, link in the description. And also we had a €1 super chat from Gordon Farmer.
Hey, thank you all very much. Link in the description. That's right. Thank you. And thank you, Gordon Farmer, for the €1 super chat. Appreciate it.
Eric Carter says, how do you forge so long without pulling out clinker?
Because I leave it in. That's the secret. Basically, I have a straight poker. I go in and I lift up the clinker from under the air grate and shift it to one side if it starts getting a little, if it starts blocking up the airways too much. I just get in there, I lift it up from one side so it gets out of the way so there's some more air that comes up through. I find that it's just not really worth breaking down the fire at any point or messing my fire pot up too much just in general forging to have to disturb it to remove clinker all the time, because it's constantly going to produce clinker, and so there's no getting around that fact. And since it's constantly going to produce clinker, it's a waste of my effort and energy to try to always hook out clinkers. So I usually wait until closer to the end of the day, or if I've got a lot of forge welding to do, I'll go ahead and pull a clinker right before I go into my forge welding fire. So, great question. We're ready to go over to the anvil, Jess. Yep. All right. Now we're going to come back over that horn. Get that a little bit of arch to it. And just like in our other details, make sure everything's square. Looks good. So I figured that this would be a really attractive thing to do. I think that works pretty good. Sorry, brain and talking don't work all at the same time. I figured this was a good flame detail to add to the piece. Figure it works just as good to have this, because doing this portion just like this helps match it with this back here. See? Just a simple detail, but another orientation. This was flat done. This was on the end of bar done. And that could look really nice on the end of a towel bar or something like that too as well. So you could do that same thing. Just adding a little bit of character to it. Make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. On to punching and drifting the holes. Any questions, Jess? Or comments before we roll on?
Let's see. Mystic Mountain Forge had made mention of the brush. I'm guessing the scale brush. What are those called again?
Those are called butcher block brushes. Did you answer them on your mic or mine?
Yeah, I'll let you answer.
Okay. Yep. Butcher block brushes. Go ahead.
Also, Bar Run Forge says your scroll work gets better and better.
Well, thank you. I do try. Been doing it for quite a few years now, so my scroll work ought to be better and better.
Ty Powell asked, what gloves do you recommend?
Gloves? I like these Tillmans. Been forever since 14 something XLs. Anyways, they're Tillmans. They're like leather welding gloves. You can buy them at any welding supply, Airgrass store, or anything like that. They're really good. Really good glove for the price. I wear through them like crazy. My thumb's coming out of this one, you know, but they last a long time for what they are, which is really super beneficial, because I've had quite a few gloves, leather gloves, and they just don't, when you're using them every single day and they get roasted by the fire or this or that, They're just a consumable that'll eventually wear out. But Tillmans, I've found that these really last me quite a while at least. And they're not so bulky. These are like, they're thin. These are like a MIG welding glove, so they don't have like any insulation on the inside of them. They're thin enough that you can still get like a tactile hand feel with it, but still get the protection of a glove. So I like those for that reason.
Photon Chief says, what is the nature of Baroque style forging, or what's some of its characteristics?
Oh, great questions. So, answer as soon as I get this airway opened up here, right to spot heat where I want it. Give me a second, and I will answer that. So the characteristics of Baroque style forging is Baroque was a time period. So it was kind of like a whole era of forging or smithing. And in essence, depending on where you are at on the globe, dictates the style of Baroque, okay? So for instance, French Baroque, which I'm more interested in, has a lot of plumage, if you will. They have a lot of really exaggerated acanthus leaves in the scrollwork. They have a lot of scrolls, a lot of heavy details, bosses and collars and twists, and a lot of whimsy, a lot of plumage, a lot of opulence, okay? So that's kind of like a French Baroque style thing. As when like English Baroque, or if you will, that come through England, that type of Baroque was more airy and light, like very light. They did an effort of, again, lots of scrolls, lots of whimsy, but a whole lot less plumage. So you might have something where you have just, best way to explain it, you might just have a bit of rosettes in the scrollwork, or you might have where the transition between scrolls are, you might have a little bit of plumage there, but it wasn't just so heavy of this acanthus leaf and leafage type stuff. Italian Baroque, it had another type thing. You see a lot of basket twists, you see a lot of collars and things of that nature in their work. So it's really, it's a regionally based thing. So Baroque period was it's a specific style, a specific time period in which ironwork was being created. And depending on what you're trying to copy, whether it's the English style, whether it's the French style, whether it's the Italian style of Baroque, it depends on what you're doing there. Usually Gothic work, so Gothic work is usually associated with cathedrals, big churches, things like that, but it's also very heavy, super heavy, like stay out kind of heavy. All the bars big and big collars and giant rivets, and like it's more of this in your face kind of period. So in each of these different countries had their own period of that Gothic style and their own take on it. Hopefully I answered that good enough. I'm trying to really simplify it without sounding like too much of a toft over here. Sound like I'm really foofty-doo, artisty type guy. Well, what they do is they calculate the universe on the backside of a turtle's tongue. And then, I'm still working on it, guys. I'm still working on my, my art show. The little plaques you put in front of your ironwork to talk about how great and grand and miraculous you are, and how you had a thought and everyone in the world should think the same way that you think. And yeah, still working on it. So far I've got as far as I've calculated it off the back of a turtle's tongue. I don't really know where I'm going with it from there. I'm never going to be a great artist because I'm just not. I'm just too practical with that. Well, what do you call it? Ironwork. Yeah, I know, but what's it called? A scroll. Yeah.
Probably seen me over here chuckling. The Fencer's Forge, he asked what he did because his name finally started showing up in blue. And so Yama said he didn't know. And I told him that he was officially upgraded to being a minion. And so Yama says, "Oh, Jess, you're just loving it. Feel the power, Jess." And then Fencer Sport says, "Yay, what can I do for you, master? LOL."
That's great. Well, what you could do right now is you could take and switch the camera to the anvil. We could do that first. How's that sound? All right, I'm going to go ahead and punch a round hole in this. All right, so I'm going to go find my mark, which is right up here. Easy to find. Can't beat it. Go to center. Again, you want to protect your scrolls over here that you've just made at all costs, so keep them off the edge of the anvil. And we're going to keep punching on down. And eventually it'll rebound on us. We'll get a little bullseye. Come from the other side. Hole's knocked out. So I'll show you that. I really like punching thicker bar stock. It's so nice. That'll drift it out open a little bit bigger. Hopefully y'all can see that. That's good. Now you might notice there's a slight arc in this. The bar's slightly bent, if I set it there, because of how much punching we did from this side. But I'm also going to back punch it this way, and that's going to take that out. So don't try to hammer that out now, because then you'll just have to try to knock it back this way later. So we'll just heat that up, and I'll drift a little bit more through that side with the punch.
Caitlin from Ouroboros suggests that to call your artworks Untitled, because then you'll be with a lot of the greats.
There you go. That would be good. See, it's one thing to make the ironwork, make the artwork, and it's entirely another thing to sell the ironwork, because you've really got to lay on the schmooze, man. You have to really pour it on to sell the ironwork, because again, you're convincing somebody to take and buy maybe, say a gate is like 60 grand for a gate, or something big, right? Depending on how ornate it is, or this art piece that you made that you're trying to convince somebody to pay a few $100s for, or $1,000 or whatever. You really have to lay on the schmooze, the smooze of how great it is and how inspired you were and what feeling, what great emotion you must have had. I made this after I had a kidney stone to represent the pain I went through, right? Like you got to really like pour it on. That this is somehow some great thing. You just really can't say twisted piece of metal sitting on a rock. It just doesn't work that way. So, you call it a hard knock life. There you go. It's just a mangled up piece of junk sitting on a rock, and then it sells for uberish money. I'll shut up now. I could go into a rant about that.
There was a question a little earlier I didn't get around to reading, and I believe it was, can you turn a ball peen hammer into a drift?
Yep, you certainly can. Knock the handle out and do a lot of hammering to get it to the shape of a drift. Or a hammer eye punch or anything like that. You can certainly do that. It just takes time to make it work. Be careful of the eye that's already pre-made and drifted, that you don't hammer around on that a lot, so you don't have to do a lot of redrifting of your own eye. But other than that, yeah, you can do that. I will say that if you do a hammer that you don't know what quality the steel is, what it's made from, you be real select. You either harden it and draw it way back on temper, like really far back on temper, or don't harden it at all. Let it air cool, anneal, or normalize, and use it as is like that, because some of these hammers and things that you can buy off the shelf are made out of some weird alloys and stuff to get around patents and things like that. So that can really throw you off. And then you have a tool that blow up, well, not blow up on you, but break, shatter, split in half, that sort of thing. What we got? Good?
Photon Chief says, I don't know, twisted piece of metal sitting on a rock. Sounds like a 40,000 bit of artwork.
So, who said that?
Photon Chief.
Photon Chief? Call me. I'm free. How's next Tuesday sound for you? I can have that done for you, sir, at the end of this stream. I've got a rock right over there, not joking. I got a rock right over there, and we can mangle this piece of metal. We'll just start again next week on something new.
Jim Bob the Impaler says, need a new episode of Jeep Thoughts there, Roy, when you get the time.
Yeah. I tried to film one the other day of Jeep Thoughts because I thought it'd be cool, but I don't know. Sometimes I like sharing my opinions on things, and then sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just know it's going to cause me more headache than it's worth. So I don't share my thoughts or opinions on things. But with all that being said, I do like sharing positive things and things. So, yep, need to do another Jeep Thoughts at some point. All right, we ready? Let me go over the anvil real quick. Back over the anvil. I'm going to put it right back again. Keep the scrolls off the edge. That bears without saying, hopefully. We're going to drive this down. We're not trying to drive it to the anvil. We're just trying to open it up a little bit and get it to the same dimensions. You don't want to go crazy and wail like crazy on this because we're not trying to, we're definitely not trying to get this to where it brads over inside the hole by hitting the anvil surface top. There we go, we brush that off. Now that's done. We'll probably go in from this side one more time around, just to even out that swell of the hole. There we go. Looks good. Got just a little bit of a bend here. There we go. Good. I like to leave that little bit of swell in it. It just gives it a little bit once the light goes across it. Hopefully you can see that. Jess, can they see that?
Yep, we're good.
So can you see the swell as the light goes across it? I like leaving just that little bit of swell into it. It gives that extra forged look, if you will, around it. Now on to the next hole. We'll be good to go. I'm going to go ahead and cool off the first two sections. I'm going over my quench tank here. That way that stays nice and cool and doesn't move around on us while we're working on the next piece.
Brandon Austin, thank you for the yellow super chat. He asked, have you ever watched The Dirty Smith? I ask you this, do you know the type of hammer he always forges with? Thank you.
Say that again. The Dirty Smith.
The Dirty Smith and what kind of hammer he uses.
What type of hammer?
Yeah, if you can.
I'm not sure what type of hammer he uses. If you're talking about his power hammer, I think it's a Kenyon style power hammer or like an Iron Kiss type hammer, I believe. I'm not sure. If you're talking about his power hammer anyhow. Regular hammer, I don't know. I don't watch Dirty Smith enough to know. I used to watch him a little bit, like a while ago, but when I was originally on YouTube, I was just hunting down like tutorial type videos and things just to see what was out there, and I didn't really settle on his channel because it seemed like it was more entertaining and vlogging, kind of like follow me along in the shop type deal. So I didn't stick around a whole lot on the Dirty Smith channel. I'm still subscribed, but I haven't seen him post in a long while. that probably did it too, just because he got busy. Oh, thank you for the super chat, by the way, for those who done that. All right, so once we get this hole punched, we'll go ahead and give away the anvil. How's that sound? Yeah, how many people we got in the chat, by the way?
Right, we have, it was like at 292 a little bit ago, 289.
We almost got to 300, huh? Almost. That's cool. Thank you all for spending a Friday evening with us. What time are we, Jess?
We are at 6:51 p.m.
6:51. Okay, wow. Well, we blew that 7 o'clock time frame out of the window, didn't we? All right, well, I'll try to get a move on here then, huh? We'll at least get this other hole punched, probably give away the anvil, and yeah. I don't know if we'll have time to do the tenon or not on the end this evening. That might be something we start next stream with and then continue on with the scrolls. What do you think? Okay. We'll see. Ask the people in the stream what they think. Hate it, love it, hate it.
And there's a question about what you did a little bit ago, quenching that, if you had a concern that that would cause issues with the metal.
Nope. This is a complete art piece. I've punched a hole. I don't have to worry about drilling a hole in this afterwards. So that end that I quenched off is completely done. And it is below a point that even if there was any sort of carbon in it that it could toughen up with, it's below that point where it would have any sort of hardness to it, where it could harden up. Yeah. What's up? Yeah. You laughing over there? They making you laugh?
No, just the Fencer's Forge. He accidentally silenced a couple of people, like, because he wasn't used to the little buttons that pop up on the side, so I revoked his power for time being.
Oh, okay. Gotta get used to the buttons. All right, let's go to the anvil. See if I can find my center punch mark now. That's the big one. There she be. I knew it was in here somewhere. Got myself my little bullseye. And out comes that slug, hopefully. Nope, it's still hanging on. Now it's out. And we'll go ahead and spin this time to drift this out a little bit from this side. Roughly about the same size. We'll go back to this side. Even that back up. There we go. Hardest part about this is just keeping everything straight. Going to sight down it like a piece of lumber. Little movements, micro movements. That's all you want. This is where the wise words of wisdom from my mentor and friend Raymond Sim would come in. If you don't want it bent there, don't hit it there. I tell you what, the old timers really have a way of saying things, you know? And just before he'd do that, we can go back to the main cam, Jess. I think everybody can see that just fine, can't they? Oh, and you know, just before he'd say that, he'd take a big chomp down on his chew that he had in his mouth. He was always chewing cud of some sort, you know, always had a bit of dip in his mouth. And he'd just spit, and he'd just be like, if you don't want it bent there, don't hit it there. And that's all he'd say. It's like, wow, thank you for the inspiring words of wisdom. But a hoot nonetheless. So there we have it. Got 2 holes in a bar, pretty simple. As you can see, that doesn't take too long. It takes longer to explain what you're doing than it does to do it. We've got that done. We're going to avoid our center punch mark that we've done for the drilling. That'll be later used to rivet the scroll too. So we don't need to mess with that any. Now we need to actually work with our tenon. We need to draw out our tenon point. But let's go ahead and cool this off and we'll flip her around. So we'll do that. Thank you whoever did the super chat.
It's a super sticker from David Peterson that says, wait for it.
Thank you very much for the super sticker.
And before that was a super chat from the Fencers Forge, who said, I want to forge with you so badly amazing, and then like a crossed hammer.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Fencers Forge, for the super chat. Thank you all for the super chats. All right, I'll put this in. We'll see if we can't get this done this evening. That was the original goal. But before we do that, I'll just let that sit there and warm up that end. What do you think, Jess? Give away the anvil? Yeah. We've made everybody be patient enough. Yeah. How many people we got in the chat? I'm going to take note because guess what? There's going to be a bunch less. $299. $300. $300. Sold. Wouldn't that be something if I said, okay, for the 300th person that joins the chat, you win. No, you don't. Don't get excited. All right, again, rules, you have to be within the 48 United States. Within the 48, the lower 48 of the United States to win one of these from us. Unfortunately, because of the shipping cost, is absorbent to ship out one of these 66-pound anvils around the world. So again, we'll set that up. So you do have to be a resident of the United States, lower 48, in order to win, just so you know. So if you're out of country and you're like, hey, I won, you're gonna have to pay for shipping, which is more than what the anvil's worth. way more than what the anvil's worth. So, all right, set that aside. We ready? We ready to do a drum roll? Are their thumbs bleeding yet? They're going? Is it going fast? Going fast? Are you ready to draw? All right, and it's for the 66-pound anvil. And who do we got?
All right, I landed on Bob Kemp, who says me.
Hey, Bob Kemp, congratulations. Is it Bob Kemp? Hemp? Kemp with a K. Good to know. Congratulations, Bob Kemp. You are the winner of the 66-pound anvil. Again, not this one. We'll be sending you one directly from the manufacturer themselves. So congratulations. Most likely it'll be blue. So if you like the color blue, you're in good luck. If you don't, you have to wire wheel that sucker off and turn it black like what I did on this one. And watch the video series I did around it. Congratulations. Hopefully he's excited. Does he sound excited?
Yeah. I couldn't see across all the people.
Okay. Oh, get with us in the comment section. Get with us through the contact link to claim your prize. Bob Kemp, right? Kemp? Okay. Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. Super exciting. All right, put that guillotine tool up there.
The green super chats from the Fencer Forge. He says, one day, hopefully I'll have the honor of forging with you, Roy. And I also apologize, Master. LOL, I didn't mean to.
I'm not worthy. That's great. Thank you, Fencer's Forge. And yeah, if you're ever in the, say, like the Dayton, Ohio area, Troy, Ohio, doing the Quad State Roundup in the fall, I will be there, hopefully. Hopefully that'll be going on. Should be going on this year. So hope to see you at Quad State if you're there. That's in Troy, Ohio at SOFA, Southern Ohio Forge and Anvil. Or come take a class with me in Goshen, Ohio, where I teach a lot. That's another option for you. Now we'll have to see how many people are still in the chat.
Looks like we're at 269.
See? Told you. You're like, I didn't win. Oh well, I'm out of here. They're gonna miss the whole awesome action of me drawing out a tenon. They're gonna miss it. I don't know how I feel about that. People get their value and their fill of value at different points in time, don't they? Who am I to judge?
Maybe they'll come back one day.
Maybe. We'll see. Alrighty. We ready? And anytime you've got questions or comments, you can always hit me up with them, okay? All right, we're going to go over here because we're nearing the end. Nearing the end of the tunnel. There is a light at the end of this long tunnel. All right, over the anvil, I've got a mark already kind of chiseled around with a cold chisel at the 1/2 inch mark, or 12.5 mil. And we're just going to butcher straight down into the piece and try to keep it square. We're not going to go all the way like in previous explanations, because if you go all the way down to the final dimension, you have nothing to forge out. So don't want to do that. And if I wasn't so slow and pokey at getting that down, I could have forged this out more. So I have to take a heat on this to draw that tenon down nice and square. But that'll get it started anyhow. So hopefully you guys can see that. We just create a little bit of separation, and then we'll draw out that nub on the end there. And get that hot. Any questions, comments, complaints, concerns?
All of the... Well, yes, probably all of the above, but I do have a question for you. Joel Sims, can you do a tenon without a guillotine tool?
Yep, you sure can. I'm just using a guillotine tool to help to expedite the process. I can draw one down without one, and I've shown that in a previous video that you can do that. The guillotine tool just helps if you don't have the hand-eye coordination yet build up. The way I like to do a tenon, if I'm doing a tenon without a guillotine tool, as I've said before, I like to walk up onto the shoulder. So I'll start out at the end of the bar and take progressive bites back to where I need to be and do that as I go. And then that'll make it a lot easier. It's never perfect, but you clean that up anyhow with a monkey tool and or file work. So it's really not worth obsessing about getting a errant hammer blow, unless it's really errant and you've really mashed it bad. But generally, I'd be real tedious and careful working up to that shoulder if you're drawing it down by hand. And the hotter, the better. That's the next piece of advice. The hotter, the better. If it's cold, it's going to bounce, it'll move on you, and you'll bite that shoulder every time. So let's go to the anvil, Jess. It's good and hot. It also helps if you have a square face hammer for this process. Get that centered up. doing the guillotine tool does not negate good hammer blows. So, you know, having good hammer control. It doesn't negate your responsibility to have good hammer control. All it does is help provide a distancing between the mass you need to draw out and this shoulder. It just makes it a little cleaner at that point to where you don't have as much of an opportunity to mash that shoulder as you would if you didn't use it, right? So it doesn't help that much to just guillotine tool it, say, okay, that's all I got to do. You know, you still have to have really good hammer control to bring that in right where you need it and planish the piece up and keep everything straight and do it like that. So hopefully that looks good to everybody. Make sense? Does it make sense to everyone? Before we go too far with this, I know you like to happily hammer this thing. You want to check it for size. We can go a little bit more with that, thin it down, and then we'll take the rest of it in with a file. Oh, don't be afraid to go to the file, ladies and gentlemen, to take it the rest of the way. You want this to have a really nice snug fit up. So you're going to have to do some cold work to get that close. That makes sense.
All right. GT's channel says, what's your favorite size of stocks? What's your favorite size stock to work with?
Favorite size stock to work with? I don't have one, really. I don't really have one. I guess I would say probably in my earlier days, it would have been anything under 5/8 of an inch because I didn't have any power equipment, didn't have any power tools, didn't have no mechanical assistance whatsoever. All I had was my right arm. And so anything above 5/8 of an inch was really a bear to have to move by hand. So I really liked anything below 5/8 of an inch. Most of my work doesn't require work above, say, 5/8 of an inch. So I would say anything 5/8 and under is probably still my favorite types, you know, size stock material to work with. My favorite material of all time thus far, wrought iron. So I am a big wrought iron nut. I love it. I would use it if they still produced it. I don't care if it's inferior to mild steel. I would use the heck out of it. I love wrought iron.
Brett Larson says, did you have to deliberately develop the anvil tapping between hits with the hammer, or did it just happen naturally?
There's nothing deliberate about it. It just happens naturally on a rest heat when I need to look at the piece. That's it. I don't methodically think about tapping the anvil. It's just easier to do that than to stop the hammer from going down on the anvil. Let's go over the anvil, Jess, speaking of which.
Alice Harvey says, nice piece, Roy. Any idea how long this job would take you in a normal work day?
Something like this. Great question, Alice Harvey. Something like this, if everything was already planned out and I had all my materials bought in for it, you're probably looking probably about a day and a half of work. The forging portion's not bad. It's just all the fine fit up stuff. So, you know, it would be about a day and a half of work for sure. And that's getting pretty close to going through there, so that's where I'm going to stop because I'm going to file it in the rest of the direction. So that's getting pretty close. That's where I'm going to stop and leave it because I need to file it the rest of the way to get it where it needs to be. But hopefully you guys can see how that's kind of coming out now. Oh, I can't get the whole thing in shot, but what do you think? Look good? The way that scroll works looking, going together. Hold it up here to the regular cam. I don't know if anybody can see that from that distance. Good? Everyone can see that? See how that looks? So that's going to look really nice with that flame detail against the wall, the flame out at the end, and the scrolly bits in between. It's going to look really nice. So, yeah. Forging work, there's a big misconception. I'll go with this. So this piece is done. Our arm is done for now. I'll have a little bit of cleanup work, just a little bit of file work, a little bit of fit up work, and then I can put that together. I won't actually attach this to the frame until I got the scrolly bits going. This will be timped in just so this way I can work to the scale, and then when we'll do a final video live stream where we'll actually do all the assembly work of this piece. It is a misconception. I don't know, anybody like it? Everybody think it was good? Good. Okay. So it is a common misconception. I had this when I first got started, that a blacksmith's work was all at the forge and as a business, and it's not. It's really not. There's about 80% of the work's outside the forge. Most of, like 20%, you spend about 20% of your time actually in the forge hammering on things. The rest is cleanup work, fit up work, drawing, replying to clients, doing measurements, things like that. There's a good 80% of it that's that end of running a blacksmithing business full time, and about 20% actually in the forge. So now for that 20% that you're actually in the forge, that 20% would be like 150% to a hobbyist, because you're in the forge, say, out of a 14-hour day that you're working as a small business, you're in the forge for maybe 8 of that. And then the rest is outside the forge, right? Collectively. And then there's some days that you're not in the forge at all. But for the most part, if you think about it, working 8 hours a day, every day, 6 days a week in the forge is a lot different than, say, like the hobby side of things when I was a hobbyist, where I got a weekend, one day out of the week that I was able to forge for about 4 hours, 4 to 6 hours. So it's kind of a big difference. So there's definitely more forging you do when you do it as a profession, and you spend a lot of time in the forge doing that. But my misconception was that, hey, if I would become a blacksmith, a professional blacksmith, I'll just be able to stay in the shop and do all the hammering work I want. Well, you'll have a lot of incomplete orders and incomplete pieces if all you do is stay in the shop and only forge things. So you forge stuff to dimension so you can spend less time grinding and finishing, but you spend a lot of grinding and finishing work, welding, tack welding stuff up, making sure things are to size, material prep, material acquisitions. You do a lot of that type stuff when you're doing it as a profession. But yeah, so it's a misconception. So if any of you are thinking about doing it as a profession, again, as a hobby, it seems great, like you're going to be able to do everything forge to finish right at the fire and anvil, but that's seldom the case. You're going to end up spending a lot of time outside the shop as well doing other things. So hopefully that answered the question in detail. Everybody's happy about that? Good. Good.
A lot of comments. They like the looks of how it's coming along so far. And the light blue super chat was from the Fencer's Forge, who says, "Scrolls look amazing, Roy. Like all your work." Awesome.
Thank you. So yeah, so I'll show you that real quick, and then we'll go ahead and give away these tongs, and then we'll get out of everybody's face for the evening. And I can go inside and warm up. So the next part that we're going to be going over is this scroll design work. I have some, just a temporary, hopefully they can see that in front of me. Looks good? Yeah. Looks good in front of me? See, I keep asking you because you got a bigger screen than I got, so I can't tell. The camera's like 8 feet away from me, so I can't tell on that screen. So that's kind of the scroll work design I come up with. I did this with solder. This is like silver solder. It's a really great way. Some people use like steel wire and things. I found silver solder works really well too, as well, to figure out the length of material I'm going to need for the scrolls. So that's what I've got going on there. That's the general design concept that we're going to do for the scrolls. So this is going to be a bit of a computational scroll. So there's going to be some forge welding involved and some riveting and pinning work. So it's going to be just a neat element in of itself. And then of course this whole thing has to be attached. This whole thing has to be attached to the frame itself to provide the support, okay? I can't hold it all up at the same time, but as you can see that, it kind of helps sometimes if you can do it in wire. It gives you that three-dimensional space. The big thing I was going for here is a relation between here on the, where it comes up here and touches the arm of the sign bracket. And if you draw a straight line across, you really get a good 45-degree angle. You can almost imagine a bar there, like at a gusset, right? So I wanted the scroll work to kind of mimic a gusset and provide support to this arm at the same time of being fancy. So it's both form and function. In this case, it's more form over function, but it still serves the function that we're after. So that's kind of how that developed and came about. That's why I designed the scroll the specific way that I did. You can add a bunch of flourishments to this. You can make it really, you can do whatever you want to it, really. You can add whatever filler material you find best. One of the things I was talking to Jess about previous to us, if you wanted a slightly fancier option than this, you could easily take this, what you see here, and flip it and come up here. So now you've got scroll work coming down this side and scroll work coming up from the bottom. So you got scroll work coming down from the top and scroll work coming from the bottom for a much bigger sign bracket. It would give you the function, which is additional support for your sign, say it was a much larger sign, and it also gives you a lot more form. It gives you more interesting details to look at. So just something to think about, something worth to think about when you're designing. The other thing to think about when you're designing, you don't necessarily have to draw every single last detail on your chalk drawing. Get your form, the shape, the dimension, the specs that you have to forge within, but then allow yourself to be a little bit creative in the process. Like on this end, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with this end for this live stream, so I left it open to interpretation to decide what I was going to do, and then I decided the flame detail was going to work the best for this detail. Same way here. When I originally drew this out as a plan, this was just going to be a simple spade end. But then I decided, you know what, let's go for a flame finial. So it would have helped if I would have made a flame finial here, drew it in, and I locked myself into a spade end over here, you know, already. So again, sometimes it helps to just draw on your dimensions and the general concept and then leave the artistic thing to the eye as the project progresses. At least that's what I'm doing here. That's my advice. Take it with whatever grain of salt you will there. Is that making sense to anybody, Jess? Anybody good feedback on that, or is that helpful?
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
Good.
Great idea.
Cool, cool. So, awesome. Thank you everybody who's super chatted this evening. Sorry if I've been waffling on or forging too much. I really wanted to get through that process this stream, so this way I could have it fit up and ready for us to go on to the scroll work next stream. So, and the link for that stream will actually be down in the description as well, won't it, honey? It'll be down there so you can go set your reminders, and YouTube will actually notify you if you ask it to set a reminder for you. It will send notifications to you as long as you have notifications enabled on your phone, your device, or wherever you're at for YouTube to be able to send you those notifications. It'll say, hey, Roy and Jessica's going live, and it'll be better than the regular notification system because you literally went over there and said, set a reminder for this stream, and they will notify you right away. It's a good thing. Speaking of next stream we will have more tongs to give away. We will have bolt jaw tongs and scrolling tongs kits here from Ken's Custom Iron from Couch Forge Company. We will be giving these away in the next stream. But for this one, we ready? We good?
And by the way, Aimless Adventure, thank you for the $10 of free money.
Thank you for the free money. Thank you everybody for being here, by the way. Thank you so much. All right, we ready? Yes. Everyone ready? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to give away these first set of tongs. This will come with a rivet, by the way. I just didn't carry the rivet out here because it's redundant. It will come with a rivet, so you can put it together. But these are your basic bar stock tongs, so you can turn this into anything you want. Bolt jaws, you could turn this into a lot of different jaws shapes, but it's like a flat jaw tong. So sky's the limit for you. You can shape this jaw however you want. Simple twist, drill a hole, put it in, and draw out your reins a little bit. You're good to go. So we're going to give that one away to one lucky winner here. You ready? Yeah. Ready? 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 All right. Y'all ready? Let's go. They commenting like crazy? Let's keep it going. Oh, let's keep it going. Okay, my wrist is felling. We can't keep it going anymore. I can't go on.
All right, I landed on Donald Duggar, who says tongs, 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 tongs.
That's a long one. Donald Duggar, congratulations, sir. You are the winner of those tongs right there. The basic flat jaw tongs from Ken's Custom Iron. Congratulations. All right, and we're going to give away a slot jaw tong. Ready? Yeah. Are you ready? Are they ready? Are they still commenting? They are. All right. They got to be getting winded by now. And who we got?
All right, Daryl Taylor, who says me.
Daryl Taylor, congratulations, sir. You won the slot jaw tongs. Congratulations. Get with us, ladies and gentlemen, in the contact section down below. Got to contact us through the contact link down below and send us your address so we may send you your free stuff. Oh. Also, real quick note of housekeeping while everyone's still here in the stream. Before we end it here, I'm just going to kind of put this out there as a public service announcement. When we kind of had some things, we kind of had a thing come up in this last little giveaway. One person was a little bit pushy on asking where their stuff was at. We are delayed behind and it is free. So you'll get it as soon as we can humanly get it out when we're not busy doing other life stuff. So we do our best to get out our stuff as soon as possible, don't we, honey? But again, it is secondary to our other regular life events that we have going on. So if you win something, the best way not to get on Roy's bad side is to not be greedy. That would be good. Don't be greedy. That's not what these things are about. They're about blessing you out there. And with anything that's free, beggars can't be choosers. That's just, I learned that from a very early age. It's just beggars can't be choosers. We're here for people to have some good times, to have a great time, to learn, to be able to enjoy stuff. It's paid for by the hard sweat of all the people who super chat in here. Thank you all for that. It comes out of the pocketbooks of the company and other things to, invest back into you, the community, the blacksmithing community, and it's supposed to be part of the family here. So public service announcement that way. If I ever get a commenter like that who's like, where's my stuff? I guarantee you won't get anything but blocked permanently. So just putting that out there. Just putting that out there. There are no deadlines or timelines. We will get you your stuff, and we try to get it out before the next stream, don't we? We try to make sure we get everything shipped out before next stream because we still have to package all this stuff, make sure that it will survive the postal system and get to you. So it takes time to do that, and you will receive your items probably before the next stream unless there's something crazy that happens in the meantime. Like, I don't know what's going on in the world. Surprise, surprise. Mini rant.
Spencer's Forge says, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry I asked you, Jess. I don't think I was pushy. I only asked if all you have is a chance. Absolutely no rush. Just love what you do.
Yeah,
I'm not even sure which person Roy's referring to, but
yeah.
But I mean, it is possible that some items could get lost in the mail. So
Yeah.
if it's been like 2 months and you haven't seen something, you can
Yeah.
ask like, hey, did it go missing or something?
Yeah, no, there was just a comment that was made of like, when will my stuff be here, kind of thing. And it's not your stuff until it lands on your doorstep. So it's free. It's one of those things. just, if you know who you are, feel bad. And don't do it again. There you go. What's going on, Jess?
Yeah, they basically didn't hear your last 60 seconds from us. Sorry.
You didn't need to hear it anyhow. It's just part of a Roy rant. Everybody gets enough of those. But no, in all honesty, like am I on my mic? Or are we on my mic? Oh, we're good. We're good, people. We're good. In all honesty, we have a lot of fun here. And just every last one of the people that we had, except for a few ornery characters, have been awesome. You all out there, our Blacksmith family, our Blacksmith community here online, you all have been absolutely awesome. And you're what empower us. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, you're what empower us to be able to do these things. So you can give a big hand clap, and I hope everybody gives a big round of applause to everybody who super chatted tonight. Big round of applause to all of the stream contributors that contributed the tools to take and be given away, stuff like that, drop the hammer, you know, those sort of things. So you just got to roll with it. But yeah, just give a big hand clap and a round of applause for them. It really does make this stuff possible. If I had to go out and buy Ken's Custom Iron tongs, along with ship them to you, and then like everything else, it would just become even more absorbently expensive on my end as well. And so to have guys like Couch Forge Company like come out in a big way, there's a lot of tongs he sent my direction, and I just can't say thank you enough for that. That really helped spice these up, and you guys get to benefit. You get to sit on your couch, eat your Cheetos, wearing your Batman underwear, and type me with your greasy little fingers. And you might win something for free, no charge, and it comes in the mail, you know. And so what a great thing and what a great opportunity that is. And, you know, I'm super excited about that, and I'm super thankful, and you guys should be too. So, you know, so again, give all the love, give all the respect and the thanks to those guys and those people that are due. Everyone who's super chatted, make sure to check the next pre-roll. Your name will be up there, as always. Well, that's what we like to do. So thank you all so much.
The Fencer's Forge, thank you for the blue super chat. He says, bless you both so much. Love what you do. And also Jeremy Pitts was the green super chat who says, thanks for continuing to share your knowledge with us. I appreciate all you and Jesse do. Oh, and that was just followed up with Daryl Taylor's super chat with thank you for the content.
Very welcome. You all are very, very welcome. So also, I'm super excited about the new content coming up. I wanted to take and share this. This is a great time during the stream as we're winding down here. This is a great point. I'm super excited about the new content that'll be coming to the channel. It's going to be more involved stuff, projects that I'm working on, but I think it will be shot in a way that everyone can find value in it in some way. Instead of focusing on, say, a project, right, like from start to finish, I'm trying to find a good example. Instead of like, hey, I'm going to make a fire poker and it's start to finish, and you've seen 100 other ways of making fire pokers, and I have made videos on fire pokers as well. Instead of making something like this, it's going to be more along the lines of making like what we're doing today. We're making more architectural type pieces, stuff that has a lot more components to it. And so therefore, instead of it being this whole drawn out process in a 57-part series, what it's going to be is it's going to be me bringing you along and sharing these helpful tidbits and then allowing you to watch the process unfold. So I will make bullet point marks that I want to point out that are pertinent information, and then I'm not going to bore you with the how to make a scroll. You know, if I have to go over every little detail of like how you make a scroll when I've already done how to make scroll videos, it's not gonna, I won't ever get through the process or the whole project. So it's gonna be new, it's gonna be different, but I'm really excited about it because I've put a lot of effort, haven't I, honey, so far into these videos, like a lot of work, a lot of editing and line up stuff. And yeah, we've invested a lot in trying to get really good shots of things and stuff, and good detail shots of what I am doing. So I'm trying to visually storytell more and then add that commentary in there when it is pertinent to do so, so you can learn as well. So I'm hoping that this new style will pick up and it'll bless you out there, and then you guys can learn a lot from that direction. Again, I advise everybody who's new, who's just beginning, I have complete playlists. I have a ton of playlists on beginning projects for blacksmiths, everything from how to start a business to more advanced level stuff. I got a whole scope of videos on the channel. Like I said, we're just shy of 1,400 videos, and about 900 or so of those videos, a little over, is all forging tutorials. So they're all forging tutorials. So there is a ton of content out there. If you have a question of, wonder what Roy thinks about this, type the question in YouTube and put Christ-centered Ironworks in front of it, and I guarantee you there's probably a video that I've already answered it, probably in depth and in detail. As you can't tell, I talk a lot. But yeah, so I really encourage any of the new people that are subscribing to the channel to go check out a lot of the older videos around the fundamentals and the beginning processes and things like that. And then for all of my older viewers out there and the longtime channel supporters, be prepared for the new content, which again, I hope you guys will enjoy. So yeah, I'm super excited. I'm super stoked about it. I'm super stoked to doing a new turn in my life and being able to share you guys in on that journey. So it's going to be good. I think it's going to be a good thing. Super stoked. Anything else? We good?
I think we're good. Yeah.
We good?
We're sitting about 7:32.
Yep, 7:32. Yep. How many people we got in the stream at 7:32?
194.
Man, you guys are champs. You guys are champs. God bless each and every last one of you. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I really hope everyone enjoyed all the giveaway items. Thank you, everyone who makes that possible. Yeah, I really can't say enough. Stay healthy. Stay safe. More importantly, stay wise. Keep your eyes up, ears perked, and just be aware. Situational awareness is always a good thing. So, and if you can, help somebody around you. Think about somebody else. Help somebody else around you. The country needs more of that. The world needs more than that. So that's my final thoughts. I'll let you all go. God bless you. And until next time, we'll catch you on the next one. See you later.